Once upon a time, nestled at the edge of a sun-dappled forest, there stood a cozy little cottage. Inside this cottage lived 3 bears: a great big papa bear, a medium-sized mama bear, and a tiny little baby bear. Each bear had their own chair to sit in, their own bed to sleep in, and their own special bowl for porridge. One bright morning, Mama Bear was busy in the kitchen, preparing breakfast. She stirred up 3 hearty bowls of steaming porridge, one large, one medium, and one small. The delicious aroma floated through the cottage, making everyone's tummy rumble. But when the bears tried a spoonful, they all found the porridge much too hot to eat. Papa Bear rumbled, "Let's take a walk in the forest while our breakfast cools." Mama Bear smiled and nodded, and Baby Bear clapped his little paws in delight. So, off they went, leaving their breakfast to cool on the table. Not far from the bear's cottage, a curious little girl named Goldilocks was wandering through the woods. She had golden curls that bounced as she explored, and her eyes sparkled with wonder as she skipped along the winding paths. Goldilocks loved adventure, and on this day, her adventure led her deeper into the woods than ever before. Soon, Goldilocks spotted the quaint cottage with its inviting door and smoke curling from the chimney. She tiptoed closer, and when she knocked, no one answered. Goldilocks' curiosity got the better of her. She gently pushed the door open and peeked inside. The cozy kitchen looked so welcoming, and the table was set with 3 bowls of porridge. Goldilocks' tummy rumbled. She hadn't had breakfast yet, and the sweet smell of the porridge was irresistible. First, Goldilocks tried the porridge in the great big bowl. She took a big spoonful, but it was much too hot. She quickly set the spoon down and turned to the medium-sized bowl. She tasted the porridge there, but it was too cold. Then, she tried the smallest bowl of porridge. This time, it was just right. Warm and creamy and delicious. Goldilocks ate every last spoonful. After her meal, Goldilocks looked around the cozy room and noticed 3 chairs by the fireplace. She decided to rest for a moment. She climbed up onto the biggest chair. Oh, it was far too hard. Goldilocks wriggled and squirmed, but she just couldn't get comfortable. Next, she tried the medium-sized chair. This one was too soft. She sank down so far, she could barely see over the armrests. Finally, she spotted the smallest chair. Goldilocks sat down, and this chair felt just right. She smiled, happy to rest her feet for a moment. But as she leaned back, there was a sudden crack. The tiny chair broke into pieces, and Goldilocks tumbled to the floor. Goldilocks stood up, brushed off her dress, and wandered upstairs to explore some more. There, she found 3 beds all in a row. She was feeling rather sleepy now, so she decided to try them out. First, she climbed onto the biggest bed. Oh, it was much too hard. She rolled over and frowned. Next, she tried the medium-sized bed, but that one was too soft. She sank right into the middle and felt like she might never get out. Finally, she curled up in the smallest bed. It was just right, soft and cozy, with a warm blanket pulled up to her chin. In no time at all, Goldilocks drifted off to sleep. Meanwhile, the 3 bears finished their walk and headed home, ready for breakfast. But as soon as they stepped inside, Papa Bear noticed something strange. "Someone's been eating my porridge!" he growled, looking at his empty spoon. Mama Bear peered at her bowl. "Someone's been eating my porridge too," she exclaimed. Baby Bear looked down at his small bowl and cried, "Someone's been eating my porridge, and they ate it all up! D." The bears looked around the kitchen, puzzled. Then, they spotted their chairs. Papa Bear rumbled, "Someone's been sitting in my chair." Mama Bear gasped, "Someone's been sitting in my chair too." Baby Bear looked at his broken chair and wailed, "Someone's been sitting in my chair, and now it's broken." The bears hurried upstairs, wondering what else they might find. Papa Bear saw his bed and growled, "Someone's been sleeping in my bed." Mama Bear said, "Someone's been sleeping in my bed too." And Baby Bear squeaked in surprise, "Someone's been sleeping in my bed, and she's still here." Goldilocks woke up with a start and saw the 3 bears standing over her. She was so frightened that she leapt out of the bed, ran down the stairs, and dashed out the door as fast as her legs would carry her. She ran all the way through the woods, back to her own home, her heart pounding in her chest. The 3 bears watched her go, and then they looked at each other. Papa Bear gave a big bear laugh. Mama Bear shook her head and smiled kindly, and Baby Bear picked up the pieces of his little chair. They cleaned up the cottage, warmed up some fresh porridge, and sat down together to enjoy their breakfast. As for Goldilocks, she never forgot her adventure in the bear's cottage. She learned that it's always best to respect others' homes and belongings, and that curiosity, while wonderful, is even better when it's paired with kindness and care. And so, deep in the forest, the three bears lived happily ever after, always remembering the day a little girl with golden curls paid them a very unexpected visit. And Goldilocks, too, grew up to be wise and thoughtful, always remembering what she learned in the home of the three bears.